A couple of things, just procedural things to give you an idea of what's going to be happening. Over the next half hour, 40 minutes, we're going to have about 6 or 7 speakers. After that, we're going to march single file, if we can, to the Thayer gates and back. That's about a round trip of maybe 20 minutes. I'd like everybody to have a candle with them. If you don't have candles, you'll see, okay, we have a lot of them along the perimeter of the gazebo here. You see these candles? Just feel free to take one. They're at your disposal. Don't take the lights off the Christmas tree. That's something else altogether. But take any candle you like. When you're done with the candle, if you can just kind of put it back here so that we can use it for future rallies, that's great. Also, if any of you are cold and underdressed, we have a whole crate full of sweaters and jackets here. Again, you feel free to use them. They're right on the side of the gazebo here. Again, please put them back. We're going to give them to Westpac. They have a clothing drive afterwards. Reverend Bridges is here, so without further ado, I'm going to hand it over and he'll get things started for us.
I'd like to invite you all to join me either in prayer or meditation, as is your custom. Louder! All right, I will speak louder. Is that better? Okay. As I said before, I'm inviting you all to join me in either prayer or meditation, according to your own custom. Spirit of life, God of many different names, watch over this gathering today. Move among us. Help us to recommit ourselves to nonviolence and peaceful ways. Also, we ask that you move upon those in West Point tonight to open their minds that there may be other possibilities other than violence to resolving conflict. We ask these things in all that is holy and sacred to each of us. Amen.
Next, we're going to have Cheryl Works from Peace Action New York State to say a few words to us.
What an amazing group of people. You guys look so good out there tonight. And to think that we put this together and that the organizers were able to pull this together in a week is amazing. This is a statement tonight about what it is that America is mad about. We're mad because we need $30 billion for health care and for jobs and for education and for infrastructure, and because we can't afford this. We have better and more important things to do with our money and with our young men and women than to be engaging in a war that we cannot win and that's illegal. Yes. So we are out to say something tonight, to tell the president that this is not the change that we voted for, that this is more of the same. We want to see the change that we voted for, and we're expecting him to include us in this conversation.
Yes.
We had weeks worth of national conversation about health care legislation, which is critically important and which costs us a lot less than the conversation we're having tonight about Afghanistan. And we've had almost no national conversation about this continuing war because more than 50% of Americans, 60% of Americans believe that this war is wrong and has gone on for too long, and that's before we're talking about an escalation of an additional 30,000 troops. So we're all out here tonight in a week's notice to say we have something to say. We want to be included in this conversation. And tomorrow night, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of Americans out on the streets in their communities and in their towns to raise their voices in response to the conversation that's going on inside West Point tonight. So thank you so much for coming out. I am so thrilled to be a part of this event. Thank you to the coordinators for putting this event together. And I am excited about moving forward and marching to West Point to make sure that my voice gets heard. And I'm excited about joining all of you in that. Thank you.
have Larry McGovern. You might know his brother Ray. Larry is Ray's better-looking brother, and he's going to say a few words to us now. Before I forget, I have a whole bunch of buttons here that say U.S. out of Afghanistan, stop the war, and it gives the date of the rally. If anyone wants a button, just come up. They'll be on the side of the stage. You can do that afterwards when you get your candles. Just remember, pick up a button. Here's Larry.
Thank you. Some of you may know my brother Ray. He's been fairly prominent. He's an ex-CIA analyst who, even before Iraq, has been active speaking against that atrocity. Okay. The line was stolen from me that I am my brother's handsome brother. But we had worked together on a statement that unfortunately I'm not as good extemporaneously as Cheryl, so I'm going to be reading this. First to say, my brothers Ray and Joe collaborated with me on this statement. In one brief year, President Barack Obama has left a trail of shattered dreams, culminating in his option for more war in Afghanistan. Shattered dreams are nothing new. 4 weeks before he was murdered, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us that life is full of shattered dreams. At the same time, he insisted that it is our job to hold those dreams tight to our hearts and do our best in the time given to us to make real the dream of peace. 4 decades ago, as another war raged in Vietnam, Dan Berrigan explained, not excused, the lack of committed peacemakers. He said, "The making of peace is at least as costly as the making of war, at least as disruptive, at least as liable to bring disgrace and prison and even death in its wake." Michael Moore has asked President Obama, what would Martin Luther King do? King made that very clear in 1967 in a talk at Riverside Church, just down the river from here. Just substitute Afghanistan whenever you hear the word Vietnam. King had been trying to get inner city youth to buy into nonviolence, but they responded, "What about Vietnam?" King said in reply, "Their question hit home. I knew that I could never again raise my voice against the violence of the oppressed in the ghettos without having first spoken clearly to the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, my own government." King mentions another burden of responsibility placed on him in 1964. And this is kind of interesting. "I cannot forget that the Nobel Peace Prize was also a commission to work harder than I had ever worked before for the brotherhood of man. This is a calling that takes me beyond national allegiances." Need we say more about the travesty of our president going to Stockholm to accept the Nobel Peace Prize in person, hard on heels of his speech tonight? In concluding his speech at Riverside Church, King says this, "Somehow this madness must cease. I must speak for those whose land is being laid waste, whose homes are being destroyed, whose culture is being subverted. I speak for the poor of America who are paying the double price of smashed hopes at home, and dealt death and corruption in Vietnam. I speak as one who loves America. To leaders of our own nation, the great initiative in this war is ours. The initiative to stop it must be ours. And so it must be, for sadly, Barack Obama is no Martin Luther King." This is the test for us. Do we have the courage that Obama lacks to confront hidebound generals corrupted by their medals and covetous of still more power, including the presidency? Do we have the guts to confront those profiteering from war? We speak not only of the Halliburtons and the Blackwaters, we speak also of corporations that covet the huge, and we mean huge amounts of gas and oil in countries just north of Afghanistan. Those corporations are happy to have our young people kill and be killed so that they can build a pipeline through Afghanistan to the Indian Ocean, bypassing both the Persian Gulf and Russia. Can we stop this second resource war of the 21st century and prevent a third one against Iran? It really seems as though we need a new chant. Obama won't, but yes, we can. We are willing to do what Dan Berrigan says is necessary if we are to be serious about the making of peace. A new book, Good Soldiers, focuses on some real history in depicting a hospital recovery ward where war is stripped of its glory. There in the ward, legless, armless, mauled, burnt, depressed, and half-dead soldiers lie among grieving mothers and wives. One soldier who lost an eye in Iraq found a permanent way to express his rage at the politicians and generals who sent him there. He had put crosshairs in his glass eye. I don't like pretending I have an eye there, he says. I want people to know the price of war. We who have eyes to see, who are willing to bear the disruptive personal cost of peacemaking, have to stop this madness. And we know how. We raised such hell about Vietnam that Congress finally cut off the funding and our troops came home. That's how we stopped the corporations and the generals who have cowed our young president. Can we force Congress to deny funds for this escalation? Can we do that? Yes, we can. Will we do that? Yes, we will. Thank you.
Can everybody hear in the back? Are we loud enough? Okay. I guess if he couldn't hear, you didn't hear me ask that question if he couldn't hear. Louder. How is it now? Better? Okay, great. Next we have Lane Brower, Military Families Speak Out.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me here. I'm with Military Families Speak Out, New York. And I just want to tell you, we're back here again. Do you realize we are back here again? Why are we back here again?
No more war!
No more wars! We want an end to the occupation. This isn't war, this is occupation for empire. That's why the troops are going off for what mission? Do we even know anymore?
No!
Once we're told we're going after the terrorists. Then we're told we're building democracy in a country far away that we're trying to help. Then we're told we're trying to help the women of Afghanistan. Now we're told we're trying to build the police in Afghanistan to do the job that the military's supposed to do. Haven't we heard that before?
Yes!
So what are we going to do about it?
Stop it!
We march, we plead, we beg, we go to Congress, we get on our knees, we voted. We voted in 2006 to end the war in Iraq.
Yes.
Did they end the war in Iraq?
No!
They funded it 8 more times.
Right.
Then you went to the polls and you voted for Barack Obama, who promised you change. What change have you seen? Nothing.
Nothing!
We've got more of the same program that this government wants to hand you. This is not a government for the people and by the people. It's for the corporations and the rich in this country and around the world. They are stealing and they are raping from smaller, poorer countries. And we are their only hope. Just us. Around the country right now, there are vigils such as these. And we are the forces that have to stop this by being out here, by being in the streets, by voicing our dissent and opposition to what our government is doing in our names. We say no more in our names.
No more names!
My son did 3 tours of duty. He came back several months ago. This Thanksgiving was the first Thanksgiving he sat down with us for 3 years. And he said, I'm so happy to be with my family. I never want to go back. But the problem is they keep calling him. He's in the IRR now. He's in the Marine Corps IRR. And we all know that next week they're planning on sending 9,000 more Marines into Afghanistan, into Helmand Province. Why? To wipe out the poppy production. That's what they tell us. That's what they tell us. Do we buy that shit?
No!
So what do we have to do about it? We have to march. We have to get out on the streets. We have to make them know that we are going to be ungovernable. And we are not going to listen
wait.
Well, we thought the world can't wait to remove the hated regime of George Bush and Dick Cheney. I was just talking to a reporter and he said, well, how did you get all these people here? And actually it was easy. Almost all of us have been out here for years protesting against who? George Bush speaking at West Point. Right now there's about 250 people in front of the White House protesting the same way we are, and I thought that's where I was going to be tonight. Until Wednesday morning when the White House announced that, it's President Obama, it's not President Bush, that's speaking at West Point to make this announcement. What a George Bush-like thing to do!
Exactly.
And here we are. He's following through on exactly what he promised to do. I hope people around the country who wanted Obama to follow through on his promises will be looking at this one and saying in horror, this is an illegitimate war started by Bush 8 years ago. The same with the war in Iraq. It's immoral, unjust, illegitimate. They have no business continuing it, especially for the reasons that we think the president is going to give tonight. Because of the Taliban, because of Al-Qaeda, because of the national security interests. We don't have any national security interests in killing civilians and bombing them with unmanned drones all across Afghanistan and Pakistan. We have no interest in that. This movement, which is so precious, all of us being out here tonight, we have a responsibility to march over to that gate and to say, stop the torture, stop the lies, stop this war now! And we need to listen to what the president says tonight. This is going to be a slick speech, brothers and sisters. He is trying to come up with a scheme to win. We have no interest in seeing this war won on these terms. None whatsoever.
That's right.
And we who care about humanity have to listen to this speech and take it apart. Let's be blogging and writing all day tomorrow. In New York City there are 6 protests tomorrow.
All right.
And across the country 70 more protests. Let's get this anti-war movement back on the footing it needs to be. No matter who the president is, because the world still can't wait for us.
That's right.
The president doesn't run the country.
I have the pleasure of introducing the next speaker, a young man with whom I have been on the battlefront, and others of you have for the last year and a half, who resisted going to the Iraq War. He's speaking here tonight as a member of Iraq Veterans Against the War and as a courageous resistor. His name is Mathis Chiro.
All right.
Hi folks, my name's Mathis and I apologize, I wasn't planning to speak tonight so I didn't prepare anything. They just, they asked me. I wish I could stand up here and scream and holler at folks, but I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken as a veteran, as an American, as a human being. I don't think I've felt this heartbroken since I got orders in the mail that I was being stop-lossed and sent to Iraq. I'm heartbroken by what Obama is announcing tonight because I know what it means to the Afghan people and I know what it means to our own soldiers, and it is not acceptable and it is not right, and it will not resolve our problems nor will it resolve theirs. This is a racist war, and the fact that we have a black president doesn't change that. We are not fighting an army, we are fighting people, civilians, children who have picked up weapons because they're tired of seeing their parents drug into the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning. This is not a war, this is a massacre.
All right.
This is an occupation of such unbelievable inhumanity that we will not humanize this, we will only end it. We cannot compromise our way out of this genocide. we are going to have to resist it with every core of our humanities.
Right on! Right on! All right!
How can my generation inherit this world? How can we inherit this? What are we supposed to do with this? How are we not supposed to be heartbroken? We have seen all the dreams that we were raised to believe shattered before us by Bush and now by Obama, and we can't live like this anymore.
No!
It doesn't matter what it takes. It doesn't matter how many marches, how many hours and days spent lobbying or calling or sitting in jail for a righteous cause. I will not stop. I will not stop until this nightmare is over. Wake up from the nightmare, America.
That's right!
Next up is Jack Smith, a Hudson Valley activist newsletter. Pay close attention when Jack tells you how to hook up with that newsletter. I'm sure many of you here got here because of that newsletter, but those of you who aren't hooked up with it, please pay close attention when he tells you how to do it somewhere in his speech. Thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. During the elections at Barack Obama rallies, we frequently heard the multitudes exclaim in unison, yes, we can. The crowds also spoke of change we can believe in. I was suspicious of such slogans because it was never explained what they meant. Yes, we can what? And what was the change we can believe in? Although a great deal was implied by these slogans, not least that Obama would end the wars and bring the troops home, the Democratic candidate never really spelled it out. But now I think we know what both explanations mean. Yes, we can vastly expand the war in Afghanistan, Pakistan by adding another 30,000 troops on top of nearly 70,000 already there. And yes, we can, in Obama's recent words, finish the job in Afghanistan, i.e., we're finally going to get a victory, he says. The Republican Party supports this war almost entirely, but 70% of the Democratic voters oppose the war. That won't stop Obama. Yes, he can thumb his nose at his own constituency because anti-war Democrats have no other place to go. Most will stick with the lesser evil. That's the trouble with the two-party system when one party represents the right, far right, and the other party represents the center, center right, and there's no mass party of the left. It's always a choice between evils. So yes, we can be led to the slaughter of other people who have done us no harm. Yes, we can manipulate the masses of the American people. Yes, we can, in actual effect, support an undemocratic coup in Honduras, despite our rhetorical critique. Yes, we can continue the Cold War, economic embargo, and travel restrictions against our small neighbor, Cuba. Yes, we can raise the military budget to unparalleled heights. Yes, we can end up supporting the worst aspects of the Patriot Act. Friends, we have to rebuild our anti-war movement. We're in for a much longer war. Our movement, the base of which is composed of Democratic voters, suffered a major decline in 2006 elections when the Democrats took control of Congress. And it nearly fell apart when Obama won the election because Democratic voters thought they had elected a president who would end the wars. Even though Democrats oppose this war, most have not come back to the anti-war movement. The main reason is not wanting to publicly oppose Obama. Also, too many Democrats think that Bush's Afghan adventure is a good war. To become a truly mass movement once again, we will have to win those people back to the peace movement. We must convince them that this is not a good war. We must bring them back into the streets by the millions. In 3.5 months, on March 20 in Washington, there will be a mass demonstration on the 6th anniversary of the Iraq invasion. The Hudson, 6 or 7, I forget which, it's always so long. The Hudson Valley Activist Newsletter will supply the buses from several mid-Hudson towns. Please help us fill them. Readers of the Activist Newsletter will be kept up to date. If you don't receive our email monthly, just send in a note to jacdon@earthlink.net. You'll get it. Friends, the American people oppose Obama's war buildup. The majority of them do. But without a mass peace movement, their voices will never reach those in power. We have our work cut out for us. You want a real change you can believe in? Here's how. End all the wars. Bring all the troops home now. Money for jobs and people's needs. Not militarism, imperialism, and war. Thank you.
Okay, for those of you who didn't hear him, he said that's Jack Don, JACDON @earthlink.net. Hard to remember, worth remembering. Okay, next we have Nancy from the Rockland, coordinator of the Rockland Coalition for Peace and Justice. Nancy?
Thank you so much for coming, because you represent the majority of American people that are opposing this war. So thank you so much, because they cannot come here. You are the representative of all of them.
Yes.
You just heard Matthews saying that his heart was broken. And I'm sure all of us, our heart was broken. Our hope for peace was established by one man's decision.
One man.
One man's decision. Sadly, it was not from George W. Bush. It was from the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Escalation of the war is only going to bring the total destruction of the sadly Afghanistan's people. More death. So, this is a very heartbroken news for all of us. But the Afghanistan people, they said that they have hope, because history showed them that the people of Afghanistan can never be conquered. So if Afghanistan people will not lose hope, are we going to give up the hope?
No!
Our history of civil rights movement and anti-Vietnam War movement showed us that our hope is not on one person, but all the people. We the people, right?
Yes.
So let's turn all the pain and the anger into the river of hope. Everybody will march on the street. Everybody in their community organizing peace vigils, march, press our elected officials to make them accountable, cut the funding for wars, whatever it takes, as what our hero said, that whatever it takes to shut down this war machine and bring the peace. It's time to organize.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Nancy. I like that. We want to get into the river of hope and out of the big muddy that we're shoulder deep in right now. The river of hope. Good idea, Nancy. Next we have Michael Sussman, Orange County Democratic Alliance.
All right.
Thank you, Bennett. Thank you all for coming. We didn't have a week to organize this. We had 5 days to organize it. It's a tribute to everybody here that you cared enough to be here tonight. Thank you very much. message to Maurice Hinchy. Don't rest on your laurels, Maurice.
All right.
We're out here tonight to demand that you and John Hall and Kristen Gillibrand and Chuck Schumer and every one of you progressive Democrats get moving. Oppose this war right now. Take a leadership position right now. We have too many politicians in the Mid-Hudson Valley who I don't know who they think they're following. The vast majority of people know in their hearts that we can't afford this war. They know in their hearts that we have a president who spoke of change but is very, very slow delivering change. They know in their hearts that fewer and fewer people are participating in the political process. Cynicism abounds in our country about politics for one good reason. Those elected do not deliver.
That's right.
They do not deliver. They lie. We have to send a clear message here in Orange County. You come to Orange County with this nonsense, we're going to be here to protest at the barricades. We're not allowing any further lying in this county by any president of any party. We've been here for 7 years, 7 long years under Mr. Bush. We were here because morally we had no choice. I have 7 children. For those 7 children, there is no choice. Each of you here is here because of moral commitment, not a political calculation. Maurice Hinchy, John Hall, Chuck Schumer, Kirsten Gillibrand, Nita Lowey, Elliot Engel, Scott Murphy, listen loud and clear. There will be a new Democratic Party in this state. There will be a party committed to the people's needs. There will be no more tolerance of this profligate spending on overseas adventures that are endless, overseas adventures that dissipate our natural treasure, overseas adventures that take our young people because there are no jobs at home for them.
That's right.
We need a full employment economy. Right. We need a commitment in every single city, in every single hamlet, to employ everyone willing and able to work. We have cities in America that have burned out 40 years. Philadelphia, Detroit, Newburgh, every major American city. No investment. We have health insurance, which is becoming more and more bleak and obscene. We have no time for this adventurism. Democratic Party politicians better wake up. Your constituency is deserting you. You are behind your constituency, and we intend to take it back. Thank you all for being here. We have a lot of work to do. Let's work together, all personalities aside.
That's right.
We have no time for any personalities. We have time for a message of hope, a real message of hope to be implemented in our time. Thank you.
We're coming down the home stretch here. I want to repeat in case some of you arrived late, if you're cold, we have some extra sweaters and stuff here for you to wear. We don't want you to leave. We want you to join us on that vigil, so please stay. If you need candles, just come up after the next speaker, and there are candles sort of on the rim of this gazebo. Feel free to take one, carry it. And our last speaker, but don't disperse immediately after him because we have just a few more words after he speaks, is Don DeBar. Don DeBar is going to talk now from WBAIX.org. There we go.
Hey, Don.
All right. Thank you, Bennett. Power to the people. Power to the people. So we say thank you to Nick and to Bennett and Michael for organizing this, and thank you to everyone that's here. Could I hear a hand for everyone for all the work they're doing? Until this past June, I was the morning news guy at WBAI, and last year during the presidential election, I had the opportunity to travel around the country to cover the presidential election. In the course of that, I was honored to work with, meet, cover Cynthia McKinney, who was the Green Party candidate for president. And I spoke with her this morning, and I spoke with Cindy Sheehan this afternoon, and they each asked me to convey a message to this group. They wish they could be here. They are active where they are at the moment, and they will both be on December 12th in Washington, D.C., protesting this surge from Obama. This is from Cynthia McKinney. Many in the special interest press are cynically reporting the president's speech tonight as an Afghanistan exit plan. We have now reached the point where those who make and interpret current events think they can make us believe that war is peace, ignorance is strength, slavery is freedom, and lies are the truth. We're not buying it, are we? We know the truth, and we will rest not until every drone is stopped and no more bombs are dropped. We will not rest until peace is won. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said there comes a time when we do what we must because our ultimate measure is not where we stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where we stand in times of challenge and controversy. At this time of challenge, we are clear. We will not give up, and we will not stop. That's from our sister Cynthia McKinney. From Cindy Sheehan. Dear friends, thank you for being here today. I am with you in spirit, standing out in front of the federal courthouse on the Strip in Las Vegas. As people of peace, we not only do not support this surge, but we demand the troops be completely withdrawn from Iraq and Afghanistan. The surge goes nowhere near supporting the troops, and as a matter of fact, dishonors them and the deaths of soldiers like my son Casey. As we asked George Bush, and as we asked Richard Nixon, how many more of our young people have to die for a lie? When is enough bloodshed enough? I'm afraid we're never going to leave that region until every drop of oil is drained and every cent is squeezed for the corporations, until we have a peace surge like Obama is having a death surge. She invites all of us to join her in Washington, D.C. this spring to clog the evil empire every day until the troops come home, and asks us to go to the website www.peaceoftheaction.org. It says, love, Cindy Sheehan. Finally, I'd like to say this. I need a little light, though. Thank you. A group of us from around the country are working on a plan to make next year's congressional election a referendum on war. And not just on the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, but a referendum on war. Whether the United States is going to continue to be an imperialist, militarist power or a force for peace in the world.
Absolutely.
We will have a referendum around the country. People are working on that. And here in the Hudson Valley, Maurice Hinchy, John Hall, Nita Lowy, Elliot Engel, listen up real close. There will be people running against you. You are demonstrating to us that there is no difference having a Republican Congress or a Democratic Congress. We will have a peace Congress, and if you won't be part of it, you won't be part of Congress. Thank you.